Greatest. Hope everybody's doing well, feeling fantastic and excellent spirits. As you know, it's a Monday, it's a podcast pregame, and man, is there a lot to unpack on this upcoming podcast, which is coming at you around 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned right here on the channel. If you prefer to listen to it, where you can catch it on Apple, Spotify, whichever podcast platform that you listen to. But obviously, if you want to get the visual, not only could you get it on Spotify, but right here on YouTube is where you'll get obviously everything that's going on in the world of sports. And I do want to say this before I even begin. The last week or so, the response to the channel has been tremendous. To the new subscribers, thank you. I appreciate you hopping on board, being a part of this community that I'm continuing to build and I will continue to build. And crossing 800 subscribers is a big deal. Even if I get to, I shouldn't even say if, when I get to 850, 900, 950, 1,000 and beyond, I'm grateful for everybody participating and for them to be a part of this. It goes without saying, but right now, a little bit over 800. I think I'm at 808 right at this very moment. So I do want to give everybody a shout out, especially who's jumped on board over the last few days to be a part of this channel, as I will continue to deliver not only real sports talk, true sports talk, passionate sports talk, the way it should be. None of this clickbait, rage bait nonsense, as I say time after time. That's going to get you nowhere. I don't care how many people out there are putting forth and listen, that's on them. They want to put that content out and get the subscribers and the people that are going to support them. That's fine. But me, I want to have organic, true growth when it comes to this platform and doing it the right way, with integrity, with dignity, and not just trying to do it as flying by the seat of my pants and making sure that I'm not doing it the right way. So again, for those who have hopped on board, I know I've said that a few times already, but I cannot stress it enough how much I thank you for subscribing to the channel. And tell a friend to tell a friend, please. If you could do that, I would sincerely and gratefully appreciate it. All right, now as far as the podcast today, what it's going to entail, teams that are on life support as far as their playoff hopes. That would be the Colts, that would be the Ravens, and that would be the Chiefs. The Chiefs last night, now under 500. I can't remember the last time they were under 500 this late in the season. And I'm going to say this right now, and I've said this the last couple of weeks on the podcast, they're not making the playoffs. They have no tiebreakers against anybody. All right, the Colts, but the Colts are a team that's fading fast, and they could probably even surpass the Colts when it's all said and done, because Riley Leonard is not going to be the guy that's going to cut it as far as the Colt quarterback is concerned, because with Daniel Jones now out with a torn Achilles, terrible break for him. And obviously the Colts had a tremendous start to the year, and it's going to nosedive to the point where I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And even though they are currently 8-5, but that's not going to bode well for them in my eyes when it comes to the AFC playoff picture. You also have the Ravens, which that's going to be a big theme on the podcast today, because that Ravens-Steeler game yesterday was one that obviously surrounded by a lot of controversy. You could go back to 2 or 3 calls in the game, but the one big one in particular, the Isaiah Likely, which was a touchdown in my eyes at first, but with the way the rules interpreted, it has to be a full, complete football move or finishing the play, completing the play, whatever you want to call it. And when I first watched it and he caught it, and I said to myself, oh, that's a touchdown. But then I said, wait a minute, I need to see a replay. And upon watching the replay, Joey Porter Jr., give him credit for not giving up on the play, for him just poking the ball out of Likely's hands. And he did whatever it took to outstretch his arms as far as he possibly could so that Porter couldn't get to the ball, but he certainly did. And even though he did get the 2 steps, and I get it, a lot of people are going to think, well, if he had 2 steps, that's the catch over and done with. But he didn't get that 3rd step, which I get it. That's the rule. But it's a stupid rule. It should be 2 steps. That's it. End of story. Case closed. But as it was a situation where the refs overturned it. And I get it, to the chagrin of the Ravens, their fans, etc., and even NFL fans for that matter. Because, and I got people, just go back to the short that I put yesterday as far as did the Ravens get jobbed or robbed from that call, and I probably still have comments that I need to reply on because people are back and forth. Oh, it's a touchdown, you bozo. Oh, it's this, it's that. People got to make it personal. I mean, geez, I'm not the one that are writing the rules here for the NFL. But obviously, I'm going to unpack that further in depth in the podcast coming at you again about 12:30. Howdy, Tuyalo. How are you? When I see a name like that, it sounds like you're probably, if I had to take a guess, you got to be an islander of some sort. Am I right about that? But Cece, how are you? Glad you've hopped on board. As I'm talking a little football right now, but whatever it is that's on your mind, please feel free to speak, whatever it is. Curious to find out where. That's right. I had a feeling. All right, Cece, good. Tuyalo, Cece, what part of the country or world are you from? I'm curious. I'm in New York City, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been to New York City, if you like New York City, or you plan to come to New York City. But that's where I'm at. It is about 30 degrees with a wind chill in the upper teens to the 20s. So if Tuyalo, if you're actually in the islands right now, please tell me what the temperature is. And if you are in Hawaii, it is what? 3:37 in the morning. Cece, Mexico. Nice. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Playa del Carmen. I've been to Rosarito. I've been to Cozumel. I know Cozumel is an island. What is it, about a half-hour ferry ride from Playa del Carmen? But yes, it's been a while since I visited there. I need to go back soon. Hopefully sooner than later. But, and Tuyalo, I'm curious where you're from. What island? 74. Oh, wow. Yeah, I take it right now. If I was in Mexico right at this very moment, and let me see, depending on the time zone, I'm sure you're maybe an hour behind. And that's just a guess. Hey, I am Islanders of the west side of the country. Cheers. Oh, nice. Cheers to you. Yeah, if I was in Mexico right now, let me see. If I wasn't doing a podcast or a live stream in this case, I would have gotten up 74 degrees. The first thing I would have done is stretched, gone for a nice run, 5-6 miles, come back, smoothie, a little more stretching, meditation, and get my day started. That's how my day should be every day, to be honest with you, but it's not. And that's one of the things I'm trying to fight here a little bit as the weather gets colder and as we get closer to officially winter. And yes, hot, hot, hot. Yes, good day, Tuyalo. I appreciate it. But it's one of those things where the warmer weather is what I sign up for. I love it. There's nothing like it. And if I lived in a warmer climate, that would be my morning routine. Wake up, stretch. I should probably meditate before I run, but then go for a run. Later on, lift some weights, do my podcast, do whatever other administrative stuff. That's what I should be doing every day. Not now, if I was in Mexico, what I would do to be in warmer weather. One day, but we shall see. So I got all the football to talk about on the podcast. I'll give you up to speed on what's happening there. The college football playoff. You want to talk about Rob, Notre Dame. That is a travesty, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan, so I don't want anybody saying, you're just saying that because you like Notre Dame. Not this guy. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Miami getting in. We'll talk about Alabama, and that's the reason I didn't think Alabama should be there. I get it, SEC, strength of schedule, so on and so forth, but still, that, to me, they just really screwed the Fighting Irish in that regard. You talk Spanish, CC. Yo muy, muy, muy poquito. I don't really speak much Spanish. It's really bad. I should speak Spanish, but I do not. Um, yeah, so I'll get into the college football as well as Indiana. Are they a team that is going to have a lot of pressure on them to win this thing, considering what they did? Oh, and English too. Well, thanks, CC. That's good because that's the only language I speak fluently. But you have a situation where the Hoosiers are now going to be favored to win the whole thing. And I understand Georgia, maybe even Ohio State again, but I'm going to touch on that. NBA Cup begins Tuesday. I don't know how many people into the NBA Cup. I haven't been, but I'll unpack that. NHL, the Eastern Conference is just topsy-turvy, especially the Metropolitan Division. Same for the Atlantic, but I'll explain. In Major League Baseball, you have a new Hall of Famer by the Contemporary Baseball Committee, Jeff Kent, which I'll unpack, as well as the MLB Hot Stove. That is on and popping right now as all the GMs and everybody's convened in Orlando. Kind of got forgotten yesterday because of the NFL, but that's what I'm going to talk about. And yeah, that there was a UFC MMA fight on Saturday, which I did not see, but I'll touch on that just for a brief second. But since I didn't see it, really didn't follow it, I'm not going to critique it or expound on it or review it to that extent. Which I understand, bad job on my part, but it wasn't anything that I felt would draw me to the TV. Like, oh, I gotta watch this. And not only that, but I was out Saturday night too at a little holiday shindig that one of my wife's friends was throwing. So so that's what you got. That's going to be the podcast today. Again, 12:30 Eastern time, roughly, on Apple, Spotify, here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. And as I talk about sports, CC, yes, I know. Is there a high button that I could do? That's the one thing with these lives. I don't really, I don't want to start fiddling with this. I'm going to have to take a crash course in YouTube here as far as streaming through my phone. I said hi. Yes. Hello to you in Mexico. Yeah, I would like to go to Mexico City one day. I would like to go to. Never been to Cancun. One day I got to make it there too. I understand it's touristy, etc. But yeah, so that's what I got there with the podcast. As far as anything and everything else that's going on, there's a lot that I'm doing here, trying to build the channel, build a community. That's obviously a priority, as well as what it is that I'm trying to do. Tatsuya, yes. Yeah, they got snubbed, and out of the 16 people on that committee, they got less than 5 votes. So, in this weird rule, they're eligible again when the cycle comes around. I don't know what that cycle is. I don't know if that's every 2 years, whatever. But they're going to get one next and maybe last crack at it, because anytime they get less than 5, that means that they're not going to be eligible after that. But I guess they get a reprieve here, considering I guess this is their first go around with the Baseball Contemporary Era Committee. And I guess if it happens again where they get less than 5, then that's it. They're off the ballot, or at least on that ballot forever. Because I believe Bonds, Clemens, they can't be on the ballot now. I know it's been more than 10 years. I know Bonds 07. I think, when did Clemens retire? I guess somewhere around there. Yeah, like once they're off the ballot, or if they got, was it less than, I think, 5% or 10% of the vote, they're automatically gone. So, yeah, CC. I know you got the YouTube play button, and is that the like the lag wheel? That's what it looks like. But yes, congrats to Jeff Kent. He's deserving of it. I understand he may not have been everybody's favorite when it comes to his attitude. And as you recall, Tatsuya, he was a Met briefly, that you know. Yeah, so what are you thinking about, CC? I know you have the lag wheel. What's happening? Audio video is good on my end. Oh, is that good? Oh, great. Yeah, I'm always concerned with that sometimes. Well, the thing is, I know sometimes with the audio and video, especially when I do the live stream on Wednesday, because I do it through the platform, and I know sometimes people say, hey, you're lagging, or I went black, the camera, whatever. But since I'm doing this on my phone, I'm glad that it's actually coming through loud, crisp, and clear. So, but Kent won an MVP, most home runs by a second baseman. Not a guy that you're going to compare to Roberto Alomar as far as defense goes, but he made the plays. He was not a butcher at second, but congratulations to him. It'll be interesting to see what response he'll get at the Hall of Fame, considering he's not the most outspoken guy in the world. He's a guy that just wants to be, I guess, on his farm and drive his tractor. And remember, he had that injury one time, I guess, when he was at Houston. Didn't he fall off of his ATV or something and broke his wrist many moons ago? So you got that going on. But yeah, nothing's really happened with baseball with the winter meetings taking place now. Let me pull that up real quick to see. Yeah, nothing has gone on there. No, wait, we don't want that. Hold up. Let's see. Baseball. Yeah, Colts, Jeff Kent. Yeah, nothing with MLB. Great for Yankees and mixed to raise value. Oh, come on. If Brian Cashman is going to waste his time talking about Sonny Gray, he's got to find something else to do. He really does. Let's see. Yeah, I know the Rays signed Cedric Mullins 1 year. Big whoop. Yeah, that's a, what was that, $7 million deal? Anyway. Hey, Miss Priyal, yes, I recall. Hi, stopping by. College football playoffs is wacky. Miami doesn't win conference, gets in. Notre Dame, yes. J-Rod, morning to you, my man. Ms. Priyal, interesting you bring that up because it is wacky. They don't win the conference. They didn't even play in the game. They get in, and the only reason why they get in is because of the win against Notre Dame. My problem with Notre Dame not winning is how do they get snubbed? And remember, they were ranked 10th, I think, going into the weekend. They get snubbed, and Alabama gets the bid. And I understand the committee had said that, well, the strength of schedule, yada, yada, yada. And I get it. Notre Dame plays nobody. Granted that the first two games was against Miami and Texas A&M, both on the road, I might add. So Notre Dame, who had 2 losses, Alabama had 3 losses and lost badly in the SEC championship game. It's not as if they lost by a field goal. It's not as if it was a close game. It was not. So you mean to tell me that Notre Dame gets snubbed because of that? Nonsense. Tatsuya, I had a belly laugh. NFL tankathon. Why the hell did the Tennessee Titans win this weekend? Oh, they played against Cleveland, number one. But yeah, you're right. But no, but they're going to be fun. They have their quarterback. I can see if they were trying to tank for a quarterback. And Cam Moore didn't play bad yesterday. Not that I was all over that game, but he started off slow and he actually played pretty well. Fishing Angel, morning. Morning, morning, morning. SEC bias was clear this year. Oh, without question. Way to go, Miss Priya. Yep. Alabama always gets biased in these situations. And yeah, we could say it's not right. We could talk about it till we're blue in the face. But that was egregious, though. I mean, it really was, because think about it. Now, because of that stupid tiebreaker, and thankfully the committee did not choose Duke, because that would have been, I mean, that would have been beyond laughable. But they didn't even play in a conference game because of this quirky tiebreaker situation where for some reason Duke had a better time. I mean, I can't even imagine. But Miami, who on the outside looking in, and it did help that BYU lost, because if BYU would have won, I don't think Miami would have gotten in. Then it would have been a question on whether or not Notre Dame would have gotten in. And probably Miami would have gotten in anyway, considering that they did have the tiebreaker over Notre Dame. But yeah, it's Alabama. I'm sorry. I know. Could you believe that with the Bears? And that's rare to go from that, from 1 all the way down. That game, I didn't like that final play call by Ben Johnson. And I understand that it was a 4th and 1. Oh, no, 4th and goal at the 6. Oh, what was it? 4th and 1? No, at the 6. Geez, I'm drawing blanks. It was a 4th and 1. And I get it. They try to draw that same play, if you recall, on Black Friday, where they got that touchdown to, I think it was Colston Loveland, or maybe it was Cole Kmet, that made the score 24-9. They did a similar play where they faked the handoff. Caleb Williams looked like he was going to go to the back in the flat, but he was covered. And then he scrambled left, and then he threw it to, I think it was Loveland, for the touchdown. They tried to do the same thing, but man, that was telegraphed. And I hated that play. 4th and 1? I mean, come on. Yeah. Chiefs lost. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Chiefs, they're toast. They are beyond done. I'd be shocked if they make the playoffs. Ward Manuel leaves the playoff committee and all hell breaks loose. Yeah. Yeah, it's a terrible job by what they did. And yeah, Notre Dame, I'm going to post a video later about that, and I'll talk about it on the podcast too. But Notre Dame has every right to say, we're not going to be in the bowl, so don't even count us in. Now, I understand that sour grapes. I understand that, whatever. But listen, we get it that Notre Dame gets all the breaks too. And this is the one time that it blew up in their faces. I can't say blew up in there that strong. This is the one time that it went against them. Because we know that they're an independent. We know that for the most part, other than this year, they're going to get the preferential treatment because of who they are. But yeah, maybe the committee just thought that with the Miami win back in week 1 and feeling that Alabama because of the conference that they play in, but they got blown out in the championship game. If they lost 28-24, all right, I get it, whatever. But and I hate Alabama. More so when Nick Saban was the coach. By the way, H2O again. Juice on Wednesday. Fishing Angel juice on Wednesday. So, but yeah, the committee looks bad there. They look really bad. I hated it. But yeah, so that's going to be your podcast today. I'm looking forward to unpacking it all, breaking it down, and I'll post a few other videos there. After that, the Notre Dame snub I want to unpack. I'll do a short on that. The Chiefs, I got to do one on them. The winter meetings begin today. Is there going to be any spark? I'm surprised you haven't heard anything. Maybe they didn't want to say anything because it was the NFL yesterday, but man, you thought maybe you'd get a little bit of a rumor saying, uh-oh, so-and-so may go here, or uh-oh, there may be a trade in the works there. Haven't heard anything. And listen, I get it. You could get a late flurry there, just like we got last year when Soto signed. But trying to think. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know. Steel's getting playoffs with 9 wins, Miss Priya. And I appreciate you hopping on board. 9 wins. I'd say yes from this regard because the division that they're in. Baltimore has 3 tough games on their schedule. Now, they play the Bengals this week in Cincinnati, and they can score. So that's going to be my only hope. And the Bengals are done after that loss yesterday, as far as the division goes. But they got to play Baltimore. Baltimore has to play Cincinnati at home. Not going to be easy. Or Cincinnati in Cincinnati, I should say. My apologies. Then they got to go to Green Bay. They host New England, and they go to Pittsburgh. I mean, that's 2 more losses there, so that's 9 losses. You would think it's 2 more losses, and the Steelers need 2 wins. So, and the Steelers are playing Miami on a Monday night next week. And Miami's played better of late, which I'll give it up to. But if they win against Miami and beat the Ravens, that's it. That's 9 right there. They go to Detroit, not going to be easy. And they do go to Cleveland. They're the next to last game of the season. So, yes, to answer your question, I think they will get in with 9. But only in the division. They're not going to get the wild card. They will not get a wild card spot. Because think about it. Well, Buffalo has a better record, so you don't have to worry about that. But they do have a tiebreaker over Indianapolis, but I don't think they're going to make it. They're now, a game ahead of Kansas City. And they probably have a better conference record because Kansas City, if I had to take a guess, their conference record, they've lost to Philadelphia, they lost to Dallas, they beat the Giants, they beat the Commanders. Who was their other team? Oh, Detroit. Sorry, Jay and Fishing Angel. So they have 5 losses in the conference, where the Steelers actually have, I believe, 3 losses in the conference. Because the 3 losses that they have in the NFC are Green Bay, Seattle, Chicago. So they only have 3 conference losses. So that actually works in their favor. Kelsey looked like he was about to cry after the interception last night. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're toast. Mahomes is acting like a child throwing a damn. India's cooked now. They won't even make the playoffs without. Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me look at the AFC here real quick, since I was thinking about the wild card. Yeah, the Steelers, listen, they got to win the division. And as it is, they're going to play Buffalo, which is crazy. Did Buffalo play the Chargers? No, they did not. And the Chargers play tonight. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to root hard for the Chargers tonight against the Eagles. Only because they have a better conference record than Buffalo. So we'll see. And the Texans 8-5. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, right now with the Ravens, and that's another thing too. With that Texan win last night, what also that does. Yeah, Ravens are they have no tiebreaker against Houston. And did they play the Chargers? No. Yeah, the Ravens, yeah, they're going to be toast also. Yeah, Steelers should make it. And the Steelers could actually make it as a wild card, but I don't think they will. No, actually, the Texans have a better, Texans have a better conference record. No, they got to win the division. But I'm going to root for either Houston or the Chargers. I got to root for the Chargers tonight, 9-4. Yeah, I got news for you. That first round, wild card round, the AFC, oh my God, it is going to be brutal. Think about these matchups. If the season ended today, and with Denver winning, they have the 1 seed, by the way, in the AFC. Could you imagine Houston at New England? All right, with Houston's defense, give it up, which that would be fascinating, but that's not a sexy matchup. Chargers at Jacksonville is going to be reminiscent of the 27-0 at the half, and then they lost to Jacksonville in the wild card game. And then Buffalo at Pittsburgh, which you just saw them last week, and how the Steelers were embarrassed. Now, they probably would play better second go around. And mind you, they were up 7-3 at the half before they imploded. And to think, both New England and Denver are 10-game winning streaks. And in the NFC, Rams with the top spot. Yeah, the Lions, Bears. And it's funny, J-Rob, because I know, put it this way. As long as you're a game behind the Bears going into that final game at Soldier Field, you'll be all right. So even though I know the schedule, you play the Rams, then you play us, then you got to go to Minnesota. But as long as you're a game behind the Bears, and the Bears' schedule isn't easy either. I know they got to go to San Francisco. All right, they host Cleveland this week. But then they play Packers again at San Francisco, and then you guys. So it's not as if all is lost for Detroit as far as their playoff hopes. Let me see. I know, despite the fact that they're on the outside looking in right now. So even though you guys are eighth and outside of the top seven, you still control your own destiny because of that game against the Bears. Yeah, and not for nothing. Why is Carolina? Hold on. Yeah, I hate that. The conference record. See, that's the thing I don't like about the tiebreaker in the NFL, and that's the reason why I have a major problem with that. When it comes to the tiebreaker, it should always be head to head first. And if you didn't play head to head, the first tiebreaker should be conference record. Oh, it's divisional record. Hold on. And that's the problem. Yes, division record and then conference. It should be division then conference, but I believe in recent years it's division. The next tiebreaker is common opponent and then the conference, which that's nonsense. It should be division, conference, and then the common opponent. But I forgot because in the division, Carolina's 3-4, where Tampa is. No, I take that back. Hold on. Carolina's 2-1 in the division. Tampa's 2-1 in the division. Then it's common opponent because Carolina has a better conference record than the Buccaneers do. And that's the problem. Carolina should have the fourth spot in the NFC, not Tampa. Carolina's 5-3 in the conference, Tampa 5-4, but because after the division, the next tiebreaker is based on the record against common opponents, which is just stupid. Beyond stupid. Thank you, Ms. Taro D. Yes. I appreciate that. Moving on up. Beyond grateful for that. Oh, you do, J-Rod? Oh. Yeah, best of luck with that, man. Listen, that's a good thing. Just think about you being to a point where you try to get close to 100%. Yeah, I hate that common opponent nonsense. That should be the third tiebreaker. No, the fourth tiebreaker. Head to head, division, conference, and then that. But anyway. Yeah, so that's what I got there. Let's see what else is happening. Yeah, that's about it. That is about it. Is that? Oh, okay. Let's see. I do think this will be like the 8th or 9th time we're going to give it a shot. Oh, good for you, man. Hey, go down fighting. You know that. If anybody knows, it's you. So, yeah, this hope all goes well with that. Most definitely. Yeah, so that's what I got, people, with the podcast. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to discuss? You got me now. Looking forward to putting this out there as well as other things. I got to get back to some of those comments. I know a lot of comments there yesterday, over the last few days, with the shorts that I posted. So, yeah, Jay, have a great one too. As always, appreciate you stopping by. Same for Fishing Angel. You guys are the best. Yeah, I actually may sign off in a couple minutes because, just so I can get cracking on this recording, get it up for everybody to. Yes, lots of comments. I still got to finish them. A lot of them on the Steeler one. On the Ravens snub. People getting at me, calling me bozo and all that. I was like, really? Come on, guys. I didn't make the rules for the NFL. So they want to tease me. It's like, oh, that's not a football play. Oh, you never watch football. When were you? One of the guys that come out and said that, oh, do you even watch football? I'm like, what? Seriously? I know in the comment, and I know, and I still got to go back to that because I'm still trying to catch up from all the stuff that's happened yesterday. But I promise you, Jay, I will get back to what you wrote there and that guy and all that, and what we talked about yesterday. Yes, Fishing Angel, thank you as always. Yeah, no, I got to finish up with that after I do the recording and post everything. That is my duty to finish that because that's nonsense. I don't like people trying to get personal and trying to whatever. Listen, you want to say, "Oh, I disagree with you." You want to say that, I don't think you're right about it, whatever. All right, cool. But when they start getting personal, it's like, come on. No, absolutely. And I feel the same way. Yeah, the guy that called me bozo, I was nice until the end. I said, listen, you don't have to call me a bozo, but I get it. Because I'm not here to try to start fights or be a rabble rouser. And yeah, I'm going to be passionate and stick behind what it is that I believe in when it comes to what's happening here. But listen, if people are going to start getting personal, it's like, come on, go elsewhere with that. Go elsewhere with that nonsense. Not here. So, but yeah, I feel you, J Rod. Yeah, I'm with you, man. So, yeah, so that's what I got. So, yeah, it's 12:30, as you know. Wednesday, next live stream. I had a guy repeatedly say both are not wrong, but he kept calling me stupid. Yeah, you see, that's no. I'll get on top of that. I don't like that. There's no reason for people to call other people stupid or dumb or you don't know what you're talking. I mean, you can say people can say you know what you're talking about, but I laugh at that. I'm just like, and I don't respond to that. I know I'll say it out loud where I'm at, where some of these people come out, it's like, oh man, please, you don't even watch football or you don't even know what you're talking about, blah blah. I probably forgot more football than you know, so let's not even go there with that. But yeah, I say that now to you and I, J Rod, because I'm sure you probably feel the same way. And our respect for JAYREELZ, yes. And Jay, I appreciate you. You know that. You're a tremendous sports fan. And listen, the great minds think alike. If people are going to look at it and be like, oh, you're a shill for the channel or you're whatever, I know what you say, is what you believe, what you feel. And I know we rarely disagree, but even if we did, it's not going to get to a point where, Jay, you don't know what you're talking about. Come on, that was a stupid take or whatever. It's like, no. I could say, nah, I disagree. And I thought it was fair. Or I thought the ball was foul. No, that was out of bounds. Or all that. But that's it. I'm definitely not going to come at you and be like, oh, Jay, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, please. I watch more football than you. No, come on. Yes. And you're right, Fishing Angel. And even if the comments are negative, but toward the play or toward the whatever, that's fine. When people say, hey, that was a horseshit call or that was bogus or that was this, all right, cool. I get it. And there were a lot of Raven fans that were talking about, not even just the touchdown. They were talking about the play when he threw the pass, which was batted up in the air, and as he was coming down, it looked like he caught it, but the defender was also there, and he wrestled it away. And people at me then, it's like, so what about that play? Come on, that was nonsense. I'm like, hey, it was close. To me, it was inconclusive, and I'm saying that as fair as possible, but it certainly wasn't a thing where I felt in my eyes that Rodgers had complete control, but I get it, his knee was down. And the same could be said for the leverage play on the field goal. What was it, Travis Jones, I think it was, where he got past the center and they're trying to protect the center on that play. And somebody had sent me a clip of that. Or I had to fast forward to the clip. And I get it. It looked ticky-tack. But I don't make the rules. And that's the thing. We can hate that leverage play. We can hate the complete the play / football move, all that. But, J-Rod, if I don't agree, I will tell you. That doesn't mean I have to be it. Right, exactly. 1,000%. And like I said, you and I really disagree. But even if it was a situation where we did, I know you'll never come at me, or I'll never go at you and be like, oh, you're crazy, or you're nuts. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what? Come on, man. We watched the game. We're watching it. It's not like it's not like I didn't watch it. Oh, what happened? Oh, I don't know. Oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. What? Come on, man. I'm a Lions fan. No call or overturn call will ever shock me. Yeah, I hear you. I know we've seen these calls. And here's the other thing too, with a Raven fan, and I know that they are butthurt. I know you mentioned that too, J Rod. Listen, I get it. None of those calls went their way or whatever. And yeah, they're tough calls. But it's not even the call, it's the rule. I could see if it was a thing was a pass interference where that was a bad call. I could see it was a thing where now it would have gone to replay. Like I say, it was out of bounds on the pass interference. It can't go to replay anymore, where they did once upon a time. Or let's just say, for argument's sake, that a play was made and the player was out of bounds, and for whatever the reason, the ref missed a call, and even if it went to replay, now if it went to replay, they probably would get the right call. But let's say they didn't overturn it, you could certainly be up in arms over it. But and I get it, that Rodgers play where he was coming down, and right, it looked like he had for that split second. But I guess in their minds, that's all it takes. It can't be a thing where he gets it and then it's like he had it because it looked like who was the defensive player? Teddy Buchanan. It looked like he was able to get it, but then it's funny because then at the pile, when it was all said and done, who had the ball last? The center, Zach Frazier, did. So yeah, lots of butthurt Ravens fans. Yeah, yeah. Going personal, no. Yeah. Common curiosity. Yeah, that's it. 100%. I've never. That's one thing. I've never, in all my years of being a sports fan, and listen, this is me, Mets and Yankee fans, going back and forth with them many moons ago. I never made it personal. But there's some that are going to do that. And it's just like, why? What are we doing here? What does that have to do with this? And that's what I don't get. Or sometimes they'll bring up something else. Like there was a guy actually in this feed, or not this feed here, of course, but in that post with the Ravens getting robbed on that call, where somebody said, oh, Roman Wilson had a catch like that the other day, but they called that. And I'm like, yeah, but that was 100 weeks ago, and that didn't decide the game. Where the likely catch, now I understand the Ravens had another shot, had another crack at it, etc. But who knows? They take the lead, and they're up by one. They're going to go for two there, to make it 30-27. Who knows how that game plays out? And the Steelers, after they scored that touchdown to make it 27-16, they didn't do anything. But yeah, but people, they're going to go there, and that catch yesterday reminded me a lot of Calvin Johnson against the Bears. Oh yeah, and that's what started this whole thing. When I think about it, wasn't that opening day in Soldier Field? And I'll never forget that. He made the play, crossed the plane of the goal line, and I believe he had the ball. Like it would almost look like he wasn't spiking the ball, but he made the catch, and as he was like leaning forward, broke the plane. But I almost feel like he was trying to get his balance, and because he had, I want to say he pinned the ball on the turf, but because when he pinned it, like the ball rolled and he didn't have that full possession, and therefore they called it an incomplete pass. It was like, how is that incomplete? How? He caught it, took the 2 steps, crossed the goal line. Now, I understand losing his balance, but because the ball was on the ground and he rolled and the ball's incomplete, it was not a touchdown. Oh, yeah, that is just, that's aggravating. No, I remember that, J-Rod. I remember that. That pretty much started this whole nonsense. He was getting up to celebrate. That's what it was, or something like that. Yep. Yeah, you know what? Let me look back at that play. Ah, that was a disaster. Let me see. Calvin Johnson. See, this is where I need to have the split screen so I could play it. Overturn catch. The Calvin Johnson rule. I mean, this is just. Yep, here it is. 19-14 with 29 seconds left. He goes up for it. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, he didn't cross the plane of the goal line. He went up for it, made the catch, came down, but as he turned around, that's when the ball squibbed away. And look at that again. Made the catch, gets down. Oh, that is just Yeah, it's kind of like Des Bryant. And Des Bryant was before that play, right? Because Des Bryant was 2014. Yep, he was getting up to celebrate. Very good, Jay. I thought it was a thing where he caught the ball before he got to the end zone, took the 2 steps, and then went down, and then it rolled. But you're right. He went up for the grab, caught it, came down, and he turned around, and as he was getting up, the ball squibbed away. Ah. Yeah, he made the catch and landed on the ground. Forget about, you got to complete the play, football move. No. Gets it, comes down, that's it. Now, I could see if he was coming down with the ball and it was one of these and then it squibbed, that's all right. That's not a catch. Or even if he came down with the ball and let's say as he turned around and the nose of the football hit the ground and didn't have that complete possession as we've seen a million times, all right, still not a catch. But no, catches the ball, rolls over, gets up. All right, the ball comes out. It's the rule. I hate it. Yeah, let me not start looking at that. Oh, I hate it. It's terrible. So anyway, yeah, let me go ahead and get started on this recording. People, you know how much I appreciate you all. Even a couple of new people that jumped on board. CC from Mexico. Tualu. Tatsuya, I don't know if you're still on, as always. Ms. Priya, thank you. Ms. Taro, thank you. See if that's everybody. I think so. Oh, by the way, one shout out I want to give before I sign off. And I actually was back and forth with him yesterday because, yes, these refs nowadays are a joke. Yeah, and the rules. Ugh. And yes, you too have a great day, sir. But one last shout out, Brent Tolman, Ontario. He reached out. Everything's all right. He's been following the channel. He's been on top of it. He hasn't been on any of the lives recently, but I want to send him a shout out. And he sends his love and he misses everybody. So I wanted to acknowledge that here. So hopefully we'll see Brent sometime soon. Fishing Angel, yes. You have a great day too. To you and yours as well. Hope your son is doing well now that I think about it. And I should have brought that up even over the weekend with you, Jay. But yes, I hope your son's doing well. Jay, I hope your physical therapy goes well. Yes, I will do so, Fishing Angel. Absolutely. Enjoy your Monday. I know it's the start of a new week, but you know what? Hey, better to start off a new week alive, breathing, with plenty to live for as to the alternative, because we know what the alternative is, us not being around. So peace, love, and God bless. Hopefully I'll see you guys Wednesday on the live stream, high noon. Of course, the podcast comes out later. And until next time, everybody, on the flip.